Hello and welcome to another episode of Game Hammer Extra, and the first episode of what I think will become an ongoing irregular series looking at gaming media, from magazines to TV shows to anything else that we can find about games. This is Game Hammer Extra, and first today we're taking a look at E1M1 magazine. And before we start with the review proper, I have to say E1M1 did send this over. It's a free copy that they sent me to review, so let's get straight into the review. Now, I think we all know that first-person shooters are a big thing. They've been around for a very long time. In fact, I remember in the 90s when they were still called Doom clones, and I'm pretty glad that trend ended because it would be a bit silly, but it seems like that happens a lot. We have GTA clones, Doom clones, roguelikes, that one stuck around. But since the first-person shooters really got going after Doom, the first-person shooter as a genre has been the go-to for game designs for decades. We see a lot of open world games, but for a very long time, if you had a film license, or any kind of license in fact, it was probably a first-person shooter. I mean, even South Park had one, and that was a bit weird. But despite the amount that have come out, they have remained one of the most popular genres of all time. So a lot of developers have produced a lot of these games, and as a genre, it's hard for one person to keep track of every single one of them. There are just so many of these games that have been around for decades, and you can't possibly know them all, can you? Well, most people can't, and that's where this new magazine E1M1 comes in. Well, I say it's new. This is issue 7, so it's been around for a while now, and it actually is really nice. The magazine calls itself the world's first old-school shooter magazine, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. It's packed to the gills, guys. Full of first-person shooter reviews, information on mods for various games, interviews with developers, previews of upcoming shooters, because like I say, there are still games coming out. These things are not going away anytime soon, and a lot more than that. And moreover, it's got veteran games journalists and well-respected people in the FPS genre, veterans of the games. They're all writing this stuff. So these guys actually do know their stuff, and I'll tell you now, they're not afraid to show it. But like I said right at the start, E1M1 did send me this copy, issue 7, to review, and I have to admit I didn't know what to expect when it arrived. My recollection of magazines for fans back when I was in the 90s and we're still doing fanzines and things like that were very small, like A5 sized, probably photocopied, and I was expecting something a bit like that, you know, something that's been printed, professionally printed, but on a print-by-demand basis. But that's not what this is. I was blown away. This thing is professional. Good quality, thick paper, great glossy pages, everything's in colour. It looks wonderful. Got a lot of information in it, 72 pages, including the covers, and it's just really nice. It's a pleasure to have a look at, to hold and to read. It's full-scale professional production here, and it shows just how much care and attention is put in. If they're willing to put that kind of effort in to make it look good, you know there's going to be something good inside. And there was. I was actually very pleased with what this was. And when I was flicking through it for the first time to get a general idea of it, I thought, you know, I think I'm going to like this. And I did. When I review, I want to put in good sides and downsides on everything. But the thing is, it was actually really difficult to find any downsides, if I'm absolutely honest. The reviews are open and honest. If there's a problem with a game, they're not going to skirt around it. They are going to tell you. It's it right there. Let's take the Daikatana review, for example. They don't pull their punches. We all know Daikatana had a great idea that was so badly implemented, so they're not skirting around from that. It's all there. And that's exactly what you want. You want honesty and openness in a review. That's what you're going to get here. If there's one thing I would change, though, it's the backgrounds on the reviews. The double-page reviews, they have their own custom backgrounds, but the full-page ones and the half-page reviews, because there's a huge amount of reviews in here, guys, they all have a generic grey, industrial-themed background. That background is nice. It works, it makes everything clear and easy to read. However, it ends up making it look a little bit samey, and I have to say that was the one downside that really stuck out for me. I'd like a bit more variety. I'm a very visual person. You guys know that my background is filmmaking, so I'm a visual person, so that's kind of stood out. But aside from that, and that really is the only issue I could have with the reviews, that's all there is. The reviews themselves are great. Like I said, they're 1 page, half page, 2-page reviews, and all the formatting is great, clean, modern style layout, works really well for them. You get to see exactly what's going on in the game with the screenshots, that nothing looks cloudy, everything's printed crisply, and the words are very easy to read. That is so important. I have seen so many magazines where things will just blend into the background. You won't understand what's being said, and you have to really, really try to understand a review. You shouldn't have to fight to understand a review, but here you don't. Everything's clean. It's got a nice darkened box around so that all of the writing stands out. It's good. It's a pleasure to read. Games are given a rating out of 5 stars, so every single one, you know whether it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. If you're looking for a great game to give a try, you'll be able to find it quickly. And equally, if you want something stupid and terrible that you can just laugh at and have a bit of time with your friends having a bit of a laugh at, you can find those easily too. So there's something for everyone. And I have to admit, I do sometimes go for those older games that weren't really well implemented, when people weren't sure what a game needed to be, and you just have a go and think, you know, there was a good idea in there somewhere, but they haven't quite got it. Well, you can find that here. If it's got a low star, you'll be able to find it. But reviews aren't the only thing in a magazine, and that's true here as well. They've got good features, which are well written, informative, and actually quite surprising at times. I wasn't aware, for example, that this magazine has its own game jam contests, but I read about it in a feature in the magazine, and it looked pretty good. If I were more proficient in making games, I would probably give it a try myself, but I think that's something for another day, let's put it that way. But yeah, the games that were produced for the last Game Jam that's talked about in this magazine, they look fun, and I'm going to have to take some time and actually find a few of these to play, because, like I say, they do look good, and the magazine has made them look interesting. You get a bit of background on them, so that's really nice. But all in all, this is actually a really good magazine. I was very impressed with how well it's come together, how well it reads, and the production quality as well. It is a pleasure. I'm falling off my words here, but it is an absolute delight to read. So I recommend you give it a try. If you're into FPSs, give it a try. You might find something here that you really like. You can find more information over at E1M1magazine.com. And that's where you can pick up issues as well. And to be honest with you, I can't recommend it highly enough. If you're into first-person shooters, you'll find something good here. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and you do have time to have a look at the E1M1 magazine website, because this is actually a really good production. I'm very impressed. It's good quality paper, it's good quality material in it, and I was very impressed. So thank you so much to E1M1 for sending this over, because I have really enjoyed having a look at it and giving this review to you. I hope you've enjoyed it too. Remember to click that like button, subscribe, share the content, do all the comments and things that YouTube requires these days to stop the algorithm from destroying the channel. And I'll see you on Wednesday for a Game Hammer Live, and on Friday for a special episode of Game Hammer. But until then, thank you so much for watching, take care, and happy gaming. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey 82, Mo Henry, and George Botterini. Thank you so much, guys.